All right, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. We're going to having a discussion with Sunny, a local podcaster here, and I want to talk about why the swarm hates you and how much they really hate you. And we want to delve into why there's a clique of grifters out there who really do a massive disservice to people by ameliorating how much these people who run the world hate you. And they're actually part of what I call the grifter class, who actually support the swarm, because many of them actually know the truth and they put the truth out there, get clicks and views, but when it comes to action, they disappear. And that's one of the focus I want to talk about. We live in a very interesting world right now. We'll talk to Sunny about this, that there's a lot of truth out there, but the issue is, when is the truth told and what is the purpose of that truth? Is it to mobilize people to free themselves, or is it to entertain them with truth so you don't have to do anything about it? So
very interesting.
Yep.
We got a lot to talk to. We got a lot to talk about. Here, do you mind if we put this on you for my stream as well?
Yeah, sure.
You just put that right on your shirt. But yeah, for everyone in Dr.SHIVA's stream, my name is Sunny. I've been a YouTuber for about 2 years now. Been in the online business space for about 4 years. I grew up in Boston, Massachusetts too, just like a mile and a half from where we are right now. But yeah, I like to think I'm on the path of pursuing truth, but I'm excited to talk to Dr.SHIVA about my friends and what we're missing out on and what we could be doing better.
All right, let's see. So where do you want to start?
I guess we could just start out with Sneeko. So you did a couple podcasts with him. What did you think overall of the Sneeko?
Well, I don't really know much about Sneeko, frankly. He was going to come down here after that interview. He said he supported our campaign for president, and then we didn't see him. And then another time he said we were going to do a follow-up, and then he said he overslept and he got very tired. So that's all I know about him.
Mm-hmm.
But what I do know is that I see this, and I think people like him may have their heart in the right place. And I told this to him, which is all transparent. I said, look, you don't have to be a grifter. You don't have to say one thing and do another thing. And that ultimately comes down to pursuing something with hard work. But there's enough people out there who think it's about, networking and making contacts and bending over, and quote unquote, supporting one another, where supporting one another may not really have anything to do. And we should talk about this. We were talking about this before.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of really advancing their lives and advancing humanity. So it really comes down to what people want to do. Their goals is a goal. And I remember that discussion with him. He appeared as though he understood a lot of things, right? And appeared to share those things. But at the end of the day, he transparently shared, but I got to build these contacts. I can't ruffle too many feathers. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So this is what the grifter class and the swarm does. They're all about building networks, about building their particular wealth and profit, and doing it in ways that really don't rely on their actual talent.
Do you think that the grifter class is at least better than like the mainstream Twitch normies?
No.
You don't?
They're worse. Let me tell you why.
Because, can I guess why you think why?
Yeah.
Is it because people think that they're following truth, but in reality, it's like a watered down version of truth?
Well, it's not even watered down. So what's happening is truth, Sunny, has become a commodity now. Any Tom, Dick, and Harry can talk about truth. You have that doofus Vivek the Snake, who they literally plucked out of somewhere to mimic me, wearing a truth hat. Trump has something called Truth Social.
That's
right?
The Walmart Shiva.
Well, it's worse than that. They're not what they're actually selling is manipulation of people. So truth has become sort of a in vogue term right now. It's become fashionable,
mm-hmm.
right? But the reality is we have to give a much, much critical view of this. When are you telling the truth? When did you tell the truth? When? You have to ask a question. When did you tell the truth? Everyone should write this down. When did these fuckers tell the truth? When? And did they tell the truth to mobilize people into action?
Mm-hmm.
Or did they tell the truth because it was convenient for them to get clicks and views and rant and rave about it?
Mm-hmm.
And I can give you multiple examples. If you go look at Fucker Carlson's tweet stream, that's what he is. He's a real fucker.
It gets me. I'm sorry.
No, you have to have great hatred for this guy because he's part of the deep state. His
dad was CIA too, right?
His dad was CIA. He's CIA.
Yeah.
He's deep state. So watch when he tells the truth. If you go to when I last looked about 2 weeks ago, if you go look at his Twitter stream, and there's very easy advanced searches you can do, and you type in the word Zionism. Okay. Now, this was right after he was talking about completely coming out, talking about aliens, Remember this with
Mm-hmm.
aliens and this and that. Oh my God, he's revealing the truth. Nothing about Zionism. Okay. And I hit him hard on that. Then a couple of days ago, he puts another quote unquote constitutionalist, Thomas Massey, on, and they talk about AIPAC. You see what I'm saying? So these people, but he was absolutely silent on October 7th. Thomas Massey has never said anything against Zionism, even though he's been in the House of Representatives for years. But now when he sees people talking about AIPAC, him and Fucker Carlson get together and they act as though they're anti-establishment. So what I'm saying is what they're doing is they're playing mind fucks on people.
Yeah.
They're really fuckers, because for 40 years, people have known the ills of Zionism, and these guys haven't said anything. And for 40 years, they've been manipulating working people, Americans in this country. That's why I hate these people.
It's this problem when they knew the whole time what the real core is.
Well, they were profiting from it.
Yeah.
Fucker Carlson is a Zionist. Thomas Massey didn't say anything against Zionism for years.
Are they Zionists? Like, are they Jewish themselves? Or are they married to Jews?
No, you don't have to be Jewish to be Zionist.
Yeah.
Right.
So Israel. Yeah.
Well, no, Zionism is a political ideology. Mm-hmm. So you have stupid fools like Nick Fuentes, who actually is anti-Semitic, okay, who actually is pro-Hitler, and they let him back on, or now they want to unleash Zionism to work with Nazism. Mm-hmm. So you got to understand the dynamics here. Zionism is a political ideology. It's a political ideology. 70 million Zionists are not even Jewish, which are Christian Zionists in the United States. There's many Muslims who are Zionists, the House of Saud. They're Zionists. There are Hindus who are Zionists. And there's Jewish people who are anti-Zionists. So the education doesn't take place, so people get lost in this nonsense.
And it's really hard to research this kind of stuff too.
It's actually out there, you know. So if you look at the videos that I've done, we started educating people on it. Because of those videos, the establishment got very concerned that we were clearly distinguishing anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism. Okay, this is very important. Jake Shields, I had a long talk with him to educate him on this. Unfortunately, he thinks Fuentes is a good guy. Okay,
you don't think Nick Fuentes is a good guy?
He's a dirtbag. Okay, he's a douchebag because he is actually anti-Jewish. Mm-hmm. And he talks about he's a Christian monarchist or whatever, right? The guy doesn't even know what he's talking about. And it's unfortunate because he's actually used by the swarm to manipulate people. When you go to the history of Zionism and you really explore it deeply, in the 1900s, throughout the world, people were expecting a true workers' movement worldwide, a true bottoms-up workers' revolution. Mm-hmm. And by all accord, working people at the time were looking to Germany because the German working class was one of the most mobilized working classes on the planet. Bottoms up. Jews and non-Jews were part of those workers' movements. Working class Jews. You see, I grew up in Patterson and Newark and places like Parsippany and Lake Hiawatha. When I first came to the United States, I experienced a diversity of American culture, but there were working class Jews. My sixth grade teacher
running the bagel shops, doing normal stuff.
Well, my sixth grade teacher was in World War II. He saw the bomb drop in Hiroshima. He was, he was a sailor, right? When I moved to Livingston, New Jersey, you had the bourgeois Jews. The Kushners lived there. Okay. Now, you have to make this distinction. So in Germany, there were working class Jews, and there were the banker Jewish class who collaborated with the Nazis. Many of the Jewish union leaders were mobilizing people to fight Hitler in the 1920s. And it was the British imperialists and US imperialists which backed Hitler because they did not want a workers' movement taking place anywhere in the world. Because if it did, it would inspire working people all over the world. In the United States in the early 1900s, you guys may know, which I've shared, probably don't teach you in high school or anywhere, is that May Day, which is International Workers' Day, May Day is international. It's celebrated in every part of the world except we're in the United States. In 1886, 4 American workers were shot fighting for the 8-hour workday in this country. Hanged in one of the biggest travesties of justice, which everyone acknowledges now. 7 American workers in Milwaukee, Wisconsin were shot by the National Guard fighting for basic rights, which you guys all enjoy today, that you don't even think about, okay?
Yeah.
So those were American workers who did that. And those movements led to mass uprisings throughout the United States. 250 million people participated in 11,000 strikes. So if you got rid of child labor, if we have infrastructure in the United States, it was a flexing of the American workers. So that was already starting to happen. And people were expecting a major revolution in Germany. Hitler was brought in by the elites to put that down. So he was a grifter, Maximus. He talked about national.
Hitler was a grifter.
Of course. Look what he just like these MAGA communism idiots, they combine, he talked about national socialism, right? He knew these workers' movements were coming, so he adopted their language. He said, oh, the working people are being exploited and ... But then he also threw in, radical nationalism and serious racism on top of it. And he mixed it all together. But all of this was done to ensure that a bottoms-up workers' movement never took place in Germany, because it would have been a mushroom that spread everywhere. Now, that history is what needs to be understood. So at that time, there were a fringe group in Germany called Zionists, who were started by an atheist guy called Theodor Herzl. They took elements of Judaism, sprinkled it with a very, very rabid political ideology, which said a 0.001% should rule over the 8 billion. That is no different than what Nazism was, no different than what Indian Brahmanism was, a caste system, which said a small set of people, the Brahmins, are better than everyone else.
The chosen people, basically?
The chosen people, same concept. Aryan people, the chosen people.
And Zionism says that chosen people, I'm assuming they should be Jewish, right?
Well,
they don't
that's
want,
what they do. But
they don't want some Muslim Zionist running the world.
Well,
or they put them in places
the
of
political
power.
Ideology of Zionism, you don't have to be Jewish to be a Zionist. Just like you don't have to be a Hindu to be a casteist. You don't have to be a Hindu to be a Nazi. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
These are political ideologies. So number one, you have to separate the political ideologies from the religious stuff. People always use religion. Christian Zionism is a political ideology. Christ would spit on the Christian Zionists, right? Christ, if anything, during his life was going after the Sadducees and the Pharisees, who claimed they were the men of God, who were actually supporting the subjugation of the working people at the time. So this is what needs to be understood. But if people don't want to understand that, and they just want to either one day say they're against Jews and use that, they're actually feeding in to Zionism. So Zionists were the biggest anti-Semites. Zionists collaborated with the Nazis. Give you one example, in the Warsaw Ghetto, where Jewish people were rising up to fight Hitler and the Nazis, the Zionists, who were the policemen of the Warsaw Ghetto, disarmed the Jews. So Zionism and Nazism have always gone hand in hand. So Zionism needs anti-Semitism, just like ultra-right Hinduism needs Islamic fundamentalism, just like Nazism needs people who say stuff against the German people. You see, then they rile up Nazism. You follow that?
Yeah.
So this is called cultural nationalism. In the 1800s in the United States, the Black cultural nationalists, in the United States, as Black people were waking up to their oppression, in the 1800s, there was a guy called Marcus Garvey. And like Theodor Herzl, he said, okay, we got to go back to Africa, our homeland. And he actually got 2 ships and they shipped African people in the United States back to Liberia. And they became the most abusive people in Liberia against Black Africans. So whenever oppression takes place, there's 2 trends that come up, multiple trends, but one of the main trends is, hey, we have a right to be in our country and we should fight. Many of the working class Jews were doing that. In Europe, they said, we're not whatever, we're not Middle Eastern people, we're Europeans, look at us. And we have a right to be in Europe and fight Hitler. There was a segment of Jews who talked about cultural nationalism. That's not a progressive nationalism. So whenever people talk about, oh, I'm nationalist, what kind of nationalism? There is a kind of nationalism that said, let's go back to the good old days, that kind of nationalism, right? And there's a progressive nationalism that says, hey, look, the Irish people have a right to freedom. We got to move forward, right? Mm-hmm. Or the Indian people have the right to overthrow the yoke of colonialism. That's a progressive nationalism. We're Black people, have a right to be here. We have to fight, for our rights. Versus, oh, we were brought here, let's go back to Africa. That's what Zionism was. Zionism was cultural nationalism. Now, these are very, very important topics I'm explaining here, and I've talked about this. All these grifters don't want to talk about that. I did a video you guys saw that said, I am the only presidential candidate who's not a Zionist cocksucker. And that went viral. I started talking about anti-Zionism. Suddenly all the grifters jump into being anti-Zionist overnight.
Yeah.
But they purposely conflate anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism, many of them. Okay? That's what
You're saying the influencers do that?
Of course. Why
Okay.
would you be fucking friends with Fuentes?
Isn't he doing himself more of a disservice by also being anti-Semitic? Isn't that just getting him more canceled?
No, it isn't, because the elites want anti-Semitism so they can conflate anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism. So let's look at the history here. For 40 years, if you look at my own history as an activist,
Oy vey, look at all this hate coming towards us kind of thing.
yeah, that's what Zionism needs.
Is that why they allowed Fuentes back onto Twitter?
Of course. And if you see, there's an interesting post I did on Victory Day, which was an important day that we must recognize. It was the Russian people who won World War II, the Soviet people of the Soviet Union. America, yeah, it contributed to World War II. I have great respect for the veterans who fought. But if it wasn't for the Russian people, 20 million people died fighting Hitler. I mean, in the Battle of Stalingrad, 2 million people died, with pots and pans taking out the Nazis. And this needs to be understood. So I did a tweet. I said, we must recognize it was without the Soviet and the Russian people were the real heroes. Immediately, this was a couple of weeks ago, Nazis came onto my website.
Yeah.
With, Hail Hitler, promoting Hitler. You say? So Zionists love Nazis. Zionists love Nazis. Nazis love Zionists. And the intention is to smooth over anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism. So
Just like this, look at these hateful people.
exactly.
Yeah.
So if you saw what happened, I was the first on October 7th. I came out vehemently against Zionism. I said Zionism is racism in the service of imperialism, very clearly. After that, on December 6th, the House of Representatives, because that was going viral. You see, today on this medium, they watch which messages go viral, and then they feed it back to the swarm. So the grifters say, "Ooh, Dr. Shiva just said that. Oh, I'm going to suddenly be anti-Zionist." They'll literally take clips of what you've done. Booby Kennedy literally steals my content. All right. So this is going on in real time. So they know when a true leader like myself comes bottoms up and is galvanizing people to really shatter the swarm, they have to, before they used to just attack you. Now they make you invisible and they steal your content and act like they're anti-establishment.
They just push the other people with the message.
Right. But their goal is to keep people stuck to the swarm. They don't want to build a movement. So getting back to this grifters, the grifters will say, "Oh yeah, Dr. Shiva, oh yeah, you're right. You're so good. Well, you want to help us collect signatures? Do you want to help us get on the ballot?" Crickets. So what the fuck are they doing? What are you actually doing? You want to use a real person to build your viewership, but you don't want to actually do the work. That's a fucking grifter. And that's not a good human being, because what they're doing is they're misleading people to act as though, I care for all these things, because we're the only campaign that's anti-Zionist. And anyone can look at my history, has been consistent. I was the first guy to expose Fauci, first guy to talk about the pandemic. You know that. Yep. First guy to expose election fraud. And all these fucking guys know this. And they sat on these stories. That's criminal. Those fucking people are criminal. So that's why I hate these grifters from all of these guys. And I have a grifter class coming together and they each suck each other's cock off. That's what they're doing. Alex Jones, Joe Rogan, Elon Musk, Fucker Carlson, and all these other grifters.
Yeah.
And they all suck each other off and they're quote unquote friends. They're not friends.
Fake based.
Allies.
They're cocksuckers. That's what they really are. And it's really, really disgusting. But what they're doing
is be on a different level from like a Sneeko though, because they still all have their platforms. They still get pushed.
Sneeko wants to be like that. The problem with Sneeko is he had a choice when he and I educated him. He had an opportunity and he should break from that. But he still wants to suck cock. That's a problem with Sneeko, okay? And your generation has an important opportunity to break from this shit. Yeah, otherwise, you guys are no different than the Hollywood elites.
So you're saying
you're just a new media form of them, and you think the bling is what matters, and you're going to end up like P. Diddy's. Ultimately, this leads to a road of decadence. But it's even worse because you're talking as though you're against the man. You see what I'm saying?
I get it. I get what you're saying.
I'm better off. It's like there's a good movie you guys should see called "Remember the Titans." It's a great movie. Now, at least in the South, someone would call you to your face. They'd say racist statements.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
So
in places like Massachusetts, the liberal elites live, they're actually truly racist.
Yeah.
And then now you have the grifter class who's acting as though they're anti this, but they're actually, they are immobilizing people not to take action. You say?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, you're saying that these people should be pushing Dr. Shiva, go out, go help him.
Not only Dr. Shiva, the fact that what I represent.
But I feel like those guys do push like anti-Zionist stuff, and they do platform people like you to spread your message.
Yes, but the issue is,
And do you think that someone like Nick could possibly just be like misinformed or misguided, or he completely is conscious of what he's
well,
doing?
the thing is, you're asking the wrong question. I don't care about these people.
Okay.
The issue is, who do I care about? I care about Jason over there. Okay. I care about working people because that's where I come from.
Yeah.
All right. I titled this, They Hate You, They Really Hate You. If you actually look at what's going on for the last 70 years in this country, if you have a child today, your child will have a shorter lifespan than you. Now just consider that one piece of data. That's not because of the vaccine. This has been a process that's been going on since 1962. Lifespan in the United States is going like this. And this is from Kaiser Permanente.
And why did they say it's going up though? Because
It's not going up.
People, that's how the public's perception is.
It's
that
not-
It's like,
well-
my uncles and grandparents are always like, oh, by the time you're my age, they're gonna have a cure to this and this and this. That's how most people think.
Well, he's misinformed. Okay. The reality is that lifespan is going down.
Mhm.
So just consider what I'm saying. And that's not from me. That's from Kaiser Permanente, the biggest insurance company in the world,
Yeah.
where they tally actuarial statistics. So lifespan is going down. So now just think about it. You have a child today. You guys get married. Your child will have a shorter lifespan than you. Just think about that. Let that sink in.
Think about this.
Huh?
Think about this.
Exactly. The other thing you want to think about is this, that the average American has $400 in their bank account for a rainy day.
$400.
Yep. The average American. So if shit hits the fan, they don't have money in their bank account. And then you can look at the obesity rates that are going up.
Yeah.
So when you look at these phenomenon, this has been brought to you by these people who people are fucking around with, wanting to be nice to them, grift with them. These people actually hate you. And when I mean you, I'm talking about working people in this country, and for that matter, the world. So this is why I'm very clear about this, that people who want to be entertained by this kind of stuff and talk anti-establishment, but they have no intention of going out there and building a bottoms-up movement, when they know our movement exists. It's the only force on this planet which is mobilizing people right now. That has never occurred in a long time, probably until the 1900s. So they listen to it, they get it, and then they'll go silent, intentionally silent. You see, that's what I call these grifters. So to them, it's like putting people on to entertain people. So that's why I enjoy doing interviews nowadays with people who actually want to do stuff. You see, because this is about moving people into action. That's what history shows. History shows that change occurs when enough people raise their consciousness, not talk about it. We were collecting signatures, Jason and I, yesterday, and I actually go out and collect signatures. You won't find any presidential candidate doing that. It's difficult work. These other candidates pay people, signature vendors, right? They collect Zionist money, and then they pay signature vendors to do it. We actually go out and collect signatures. We have to get 16,000 signatures in Massachusetts to get on the ballot. This is actual work.
Yeah.
It's work. So the question we have to ask is, who is actually doing work? Being in front of a computer, doing social media, I'm sorry, that's not work. You're not creating anything of value. That's a marketing vehicle, okay? You go make this iPhone, that's a value, okay? You create a piece of software, that's value. You actually use your ingenuity with your skills, mathematics, science, engineering, that's value. And that's what this world needs. But what we've done is we've limited all that innovation to a finite set of people who don't really innovate anymore. And then you got a whole grifter class over here who's talking about them. So if you look at the innovations that are being done to free humanity,
It's just all like a big puppet show is basically what you're saying. People just looking at their phones. Oh, this is the message. Okay, let me go jerk off after the stream is over. No, I'm not actually gonna.
yeah. So if you look at innovations, let's just look at it, right? You watch.
You still don't think it's better though that people are spreading this? Like a year and a half ago, nobody knew anything about Zionism. Nobody even knew what the word meant. Nobody knew that they were the amount of influence that they had. So you don't think that these guys are at least stepping in the
Well,
right direction.
they're not doing what I did, which is to expose what Zionism is. Okay? They came later, after October 7th.
A lot of them, well, Nick and Sneeko and these guys, they were doing it before October 7th. It's a lot of the new.
Well, no. They were conflating Judaism. Okay? They never spoke clearly about Zionism.
I could have sworn it was Zionism, but
you can go look at it. Ask them to. They never clearly talked about Zionism. They would hit Jewish people all day, talk about Hitler. Okay? That's fucked up. That allows the Zionists to brand true anti-Zionist stuff as anti-Semitism.
I get what you're saying with that. Yeah.
It's fucked up.
Yeah. There should be a clear.
They're working for the other side. And that's what ended up happening on December 6th. The House passed a resolution that anti-Zionism is equal to anti-Semitism. You know where that resolution comes from?
You're saying because of these people and what?
Well, because no.
Because of their rhetoric.
No. You got to understand, 500 million people know about our movement. All the work we did in 2020. You should read a book called The Invisible Man by Ralph Ellison. In 2020, I would get 100 million retweets. Okay? 100 million views on my videos. 100 million.
Really?
Single-handedly, we ran the Fire Fauci campaign.
I didn't know all this.
I'm telling you all this now, so you can go look at it.
You
know
too?
about it.
Yeah,
okay.
I was a big follower.
Yeah.
You're a big follower.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Owen's right here. It's all the
Okay.
cool thing is it's all documented. In 2020, I was the first scientist to hit hard on the pandemic. I said this pandemic will go down in history as a way to destroy speech, destroy economies, and destroy your life. Period. Rand Paul wasn't saying shit. Booby fucking Kennedy was promoting lockdowns. Trump was promoting lockdowns. Not only did I do that, but I did a series of 50 videos sharing with people what's the immune system and a protocol I created, vitamin D3, quercetin, zinc, that Zelenko stole, and he started selling it. I gave it away free for people. We saved about 100 million people's lives. Everyone knows this worldwide. Fucker Carlson was promoting all this shit. Then when they stole my election from me, it was I who discovered the backdoor two things. We exposed the fact that the voting machines have a way to flip votes. Long before Mike Lindell took my stuff and started fucking selling pillows all day.
Is that the Fox News guy?
No, Mike Lindell, the guy who sells pillows. And Trump, all those guys called me when I was here, used my material to raise $500 million. That's a fucking doofus, douchebag grifter. They did nothing to stop. None of the things have changed. So we did all this up front. 500 million people throughout the world know this. I travel everywhere. People say, Dr. Shiva, thank you. Now, after 2021, they said, fuck, this guy's independent. He's not a grifter. We can't control him, so we're going to shadow ban him. Okay? So that's what's happened. So the reality is they do not want people coming bottoms up who are not in any one of these camps telling the truth and telling people to mobilize people. All right? So if you understand that, you will move beyond the scripture class.
Could you expand on what you mean by bottoms up? Like what that exactly means?
Yeah. So independent bottoms up movements. Okay. I go hand out this flyer. What's the difference here? I'm not raising Zionist hoodlum money and calling my Zionist hoodlum friends at mainstream media and giving them this money from this pocket to this pocket to take TV ads out. You follow?
You're going out.
You're going out
and you're doing it.
You're going out and you're putting
grassroots.
You put a bumper sticker like on this, 100,000 people see it. You go out in the cold and you actually go collect signatures.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
All right. Well, you actually go out and do the work. In Utah, we collected signatures and got on the ballot. Booby Kennedy couldn't even collect 1,000 signatures. He had to go to the Secretary of State and do a backroom deal to get an extension. You see?
Which they wouldn't give you.
Of course they wouldn't give us. So we did the right. So these people cheat. And you have to understand that the working people in this country are being cheated because they hate you. All these people that people suck up to, they actually hate you. P. Diddy fucking hates you. Trump fucking hates you. And you need to understand that.
But he just called a veteran on the plane.
He fucking hates you. These people hate you. Yeah. And if you have any compassion for working people in this country, you will expose them with great anger and righteousness. These people hate you. They hate your families. They hate everything you're about. And if you want to suck up to them and build your networks around them, you're basically a fucking house slave. All right. And I've been given many opportunities to be co-opted by these people many times. And I've walked away because I know who they are. So that's what your generation needs to learn. Do they want to be fucking cocksuckers? You have to ask yourself.
I don't want to be a cocksucker. I don't want to be a cocksucker.
Well, then, you're falling into that by not openly exposing these people.
I'm with you right now.
Yeah. No, but what I'm saying is not you.
Yeah,
but I'm saying you meaning in general.
Yeah.
But the issue is once you understand something, you have a noble duty to expose these people.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on. I mean, it's easy.
Do you think it's almost healthy though to do a mix of doing more mainstream content as well as mixing in?
No, it's called being an opportunist.
Because if you're
trying to be a clever monkey.
In a way, I mean, you could word it like that, but you could also word it like you're hitting a wider audience, and then you're able to pivot what you're saying and spread more truth. So it's like, it's a marketing tactic that I'll call.
Well, that's a marketing tactic. Look, I made two major ad awards. Okay.
Yeah.
I used to be the digital marketing guy for Nike and some of the biggest companies in the world. So we can talk advertising all day. That's a dumb model. Okay. You may think you're being a clever marketer.
Mm-hmm.
What you're doing is you're misleading people.
Okay.
All right. So we need to break from that. When you're talking about politics and truth, you have to look, 70% of the people are either independents in this country, don't participate in elections, or don't even register to vote. So 70% of people agree with me. And they look at the 30% of grifters and they spit on them. They said, this guy's fucking bullshitting me. So you may want to be a clever monkey and you may think, wow, I'm going to sort of say this to this people. I'm going to work with these people. I'm going to bring them over. No, you get stuck in the swarm. You say, it's like people, when I was growing up, they'd say, well, once I become a big celebrity, then I'll help the world.
Everyone.
Yeah, no, you don't. You get golden handcuffs and you have
golden handcuffs.
They have too much shit on you.
I like that.
All right. Handcuffs. Martin Luther King was one of those guys. Okay. He was banging people left and right. He had a lot of skeletons in his closet, big time drug user, pedophilia shit.
Who is this?
Martin Luther King. Look it up.
Okay.
The government had a lot of shit on him. They had nothing on Malcolm X. So why do you think there's statues on Martin Luther King everywhere? Because he was their boy. The March on Washington was controlled by the Kennedy family. So if you see someone becoming a mainstream guy, you have to ask yourself, how many cocks has he sucked? You have to. And if that's what you want to be, you're going to get ready to do a lot of cocksucking. We have an enormous opportunity now in the world. And that opportunity is working people are being fucked. And they're looking for real leadership. And it's not going to come from top down. It's not going to come from sort of compromising a little bit and playing their games. They already know.
Balls to the wall. Let's all do it.
It's going to come from building bottoms up movements. It's going to come from learning this dynamic. You have to study. You have to put effort into it. And you have to go out and do the work. And you can't be sort of a dilettante hooligan about it. And they want people, young people particularly, to be dilettantes. And that's what's going on. So, and all of this is occurring because fundamentally they hate you. They will not critique you. They'll want you to be part of that stream. They want you to be an opportunist, and they'll feed you because they want opportunists, because they know they'll own you. Trump is a big time opportunist. Fucking guy's not a businessman. Everything he's done has failed. He's a fake businessman holding a telephone. The last time he went bankrupt, Wilbur Ross is the one who bailed him out.
Zionist?
Wilbur Ross ran the debt financing group for the Rothschilds. So here's Trump taking 14% loans. Would you take a 14% loan? What fucking fool would do that? He's taking 14% loans in Atlantic City. He goes bankrupt. Now, if you go bankrupt, if you or I went bankrupt, when the bankers come in, they take everything. Well, how come they gave Trump the ability to own 50% of what he still went bankrupt on? And then they put him on a path to become president. You see, he's WWE. It's all architected. So first they did book deals for him. They got him the Apprentice show. They built this character. So if you want to be a puppet.
So why are they going after him right now?
They're not going after him.
It's
really going after him. He made $250 million. Why do you say that? Why do you say?
That's what well,
No, but why do you say that?
Because that's what the conservative puppets say.
No, but why did you ask that? Why did you just mislead people by asking that?
Oh, because all right, I get what you're. This is deep. Like this is deep. Like I'm trying.
You just said they're going after him. No, they're not going after him.
I know. I get that.
They paid him, so they get
it's a psyop going after.
You ever
him
watch
to make
you
him,
ever watch WWE wrestling?
Yeah.
Okay. You see, oh yeah, okay. This one guy's beating Mad Dog up. Mad Dog is down. Oh my God,
They're
he's
going
down.
after
He's
Mad
down.
Dog.
Oh my God, he's down. Right? And then suddenly he awakens, comes up and destroys the other guy. Why? Because the swarm hates you. And they know a very powerful mythic story. You know what the mythic story is? That's embedded in every human's heart. It is a story of the underdog. You can read the works of Joseph Campbell.
He's cooking. I like that you called me out, because even the way that I asked that
Well, it's
question,
not about calling you out. It's about making sure that you don't get fucking brainwashed and you don't become a grifter. And maybe you will, and maybe you won't after this. I hope you don't. And this is not one fucking grift. Because I care for young people. Other people say, oh yeah, good. You good. Do that video. You'll make connections. No, you're headed like a downward slope. That's where you're going morally. But the bottom line is this. If you look at someone like Trump, okay, and you look at where did he come out of? Worldwide Wrestling Federation. Have you seen this shit? They create the stage. They create characters, and it's all rigged.
So you think Trump was meant to win in
Not Trump,
2016 as well?
Look, I did all the election stuff. I did all the math. If you are a quote unquote a conservative, whatever the fuck that means, and you believe
it just means like anti-pride flag now, basically.
No, we don't know. These are fucked up terms. Nobody know what it means anymore. The reality is, if you believe elections are selections, how the fuck did Trump get elected then? Oh, well, he won overwhelming odds. No, if you believe in this guiding principle, elections are selections, how did Trump get elected?
What people would say is that...
No, what do you say? Forget what people say.
In 2016?
Yeah, how did he get elected?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking
If
you.
elections are selections,
How he talks.
well, he was put in power. Why? Who put him in power? Netanyahu and Israel did. The Russia hoaxing was a hoax within a hoax. That was a distraction. The work of James Borfman clearly exposes that a deal was struck. Look, Israel is the center of election interference. Israel has the best technology, Mossad, to do election interference. They interfere in every fucking election. The deal was made that as long as he moved the embassy to Jerusalem, and as long as he ixnayed the Iran deal, he would get to be president. Netanyahu put him into power. Now, how do you know this? Because in the FOIA that James Borfman did when Oliver Stone was thrown in jail, it's all in there. And even the Mueller hid all this. So they had this thing trying to say, oh my God, Russia, Russia. But the real underhanded thing was Israel put Trump into power. Now, why? Obama was a black guy who was pushed forward onto the American white working class. 70% of people who voted for Trump voted for Obama. Okay? Trumpers voted for Obama. So they find this other random guy, Obama, out of nowhere, overnight, a one-term senator's president. How the fuck does that happen? The Pritzker family in Chicago injected a lot of money into him, right? So Zionists put Obama into power. Why? Because after the Bush presidency, the working people in this country were like, fuck, we're being totally fucked.
Mm-hmm.
So they were breaking from the swarm. So whenever people start to break and say, we need to build a bottoms-up movement, they then bring in the next Messiah. So they brought in hope, right? That was Obama's message. After they squeezed him dry, after they used him for 2 terms, and what did Obama ultimately do? He saved the elites. He saved Goldman Sachs. The banking industry had collapsed. He printed $8.2 trillion and saved them. So they handsomely rewarded him. After that, they said, fuck, we need a white guy now because white people are pissed off with black guy. White guy, Trump. Trump comes in. And Trump did everything the elites wanted him to do. Everything. Flawlessly. Drained the fucking swamp. He brought in the swamp. Pompeo, Bolton, Wilbur Ross, everyone. It's right in front of you. Pharmaceutical companies' revenue was going down like this. It was tanking. Pfizer's revenue was at $60 billion 7 years ago, and it come down to 45 billion. A company's losing 20 billion in revenue. So what do? They brought the vaccine because vaccines don't need all this testing. Okay? We can have a longer discussion. You can see the videos I've done on that. Trump was brought in by Pfizer.
And then how much did Pfizer generate?
Pfizer's revenue went from 45 billion in 2 years to 100 billion. How the fuck does that happen? Tell me a company that doubles their revenue at that size.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yes.
So then where did COVID come from?
Well, the issue is, let's ask the right questions.
Okay.
Okay. The issue is, there are antigens around all of us. What's an antigen? Antigens are proteins that occur on fungi, they occur on bacteria, they occur on all different kinds of organisms.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those antigens affect certain people and you have an immune response.
Yeah.
Some people eat, let's say, peanuts, right? And they have to carry around a EpiPen, right?
Yeah.
Some people are exposed to certain types of toxins and their body reacts. Okay. So in 2019, I won the very important award by the National Science Foundation. I was asked to give the lecture on the modern science of the immune system. So I'm considered one of the leading guys in the immune system. I've published widely on this. So in 2020, when I saw this occur, if you look what I said, this is not about pro-vax or anti-vax. This is about the immune system. And we did many, many videos educating people on the immune system.
Mm-hmm.
So go to the root cause issue. So over the last 70 years, particularly your generation of kids, immune system has been destroyed. So what is the immune system? The immune system is the operating system of your body, which defines every other aspect of your body, whether you're going to get cancer, how fast you're going to age. Okay, it's the immune system. Now that immune system has been compromised. So if you're young, let's say you're born from the time you come out of your mother's womb and you start playing, if you're allowed to play in dirt and you're allowed to interact with other kids, your body is waiting for it to be exposed to these antigens. And your body, has sniffles, you react, and your body gets strong. It's like literally going to the weight room and starting to lift weights, okay? If you don't lift weights, your muscles atrophy. The first time you go, maybe you get a little sore. But if you stop, it's not going to help. So the immune system always gets primed, all right? So the immune system gets primed, and when you're young, the more you're exposed to, the stronger you have. Like when I grew up in India, I never heard of allergies. When I came to this country, I was, I have this allergy, that allergy, this allergy.
Bunch of bullshit, yeah.
Well, no,
it's not necessarily bullshit. It's that people were soft and that they didn't allow their immune systems to build up.
Exactly. So what happens is, what they've done is, on the one hand, you're taking young people, you don't let them get exposed, so their immune systems weaken. Then you're taking older people and you don't give them the proper nutrition, so their immune systems don't get properly developed. So now you find a set of people, obesity, for example, affects the immune system.
Mm-hmm.
So most of the people who died during COVID had pre-existing conditions.
Yeah.
They were very old people or people who were highly obese, right?
Killing my grandma, yeah.
Those kind of things, right? So the immune system is supposed to be developed. So what we've done is the swarm has passed policies to destroy people's immune systems. That's what they've done. They've passed policies to destroy your immune system.
Require vaccines.
Therefore, requiring what you call artificial immunization, e.g. a vaccine, e.g. eat this food, take this drug. I mean, a whole motley of things.
Yeah, even the fact that like when you get a cold or something when you're young, like you don't need medicine to get over that cold. It's your body's response to something inside of you that's getting it out, right?
You can do that, and you can take certain nutrients, which supports that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you take the bone broth soup.
But not just like CBS,
you go out in the
garbage.
sun.
Yeah.
Well, the issue is, in traditional cultures, you would support the body, right? So right when you feel a sniffle coming on, you see the immune system has multiple aspects. You have what's called the innate immune system. If he were to sneeze on you, right, your body would immediately bring these aspects of your innate immune system. They're like the Marines. They try to take out that antigen, okay?
Who knows what he's got?
Yeah, who knows what he's got. The next phase is if your body can't overcome that, then it unleashes what's called the adaptive immune system within about a few days.
Would that be like white blood cells?
That's the B cells, which unleash the antibodies.
Okay.
So it's got the Marines, which just start blowing up everything.
That's like, would the Marines be like sneezing and like?
Yeah, if he sneezes on you, your Marines come out first, try to take out everything.
But my Marines would be like sneezing and getting that shit out.
Or no, you'd initially have a reaction, right?
Okay.
You maybe feel a little sore throat, etc. And then if you don't support that process, then your body goes into the innate stage and your body starts putting antibodies out.
Yeah.
So this was a 2-box model. What I uncovered in my research is there's many other boxes. You have your gut bacteria, you have the vagus nerve, you have many other subsystems. So it turns out, by the way, if you do feel a cold coming on, and right when you feel it coming on, during that 20-minute to 1 hour period, it's really important you support your immune system.
Yeah.
For example, garlic is very good. For example, dosing up on vitamin C, dosing up on vitamin D3. There's a piece of that period, if you dose well, you're going to make sure your body doesn't go into the next phase. What people do is they don't support their body when they're starting to feel ill, and then they get sick for weeks.
Yeah, I agree. Like supporting your body, that just makes logical sense. But I feel like there's so many different people that say different solutions. Like, this is the truth with health. This is the truth with health. Like, a lot of my friends, they say like raw meat, raw milk, raw dairy, stuff like that. This is the real red pill. This is the truth. So I feel like it just turns a lot of people away once there's like so many different aspects of like, oh, you need vitamin D3. Oh, you need to do this. It's like,
so let me.
How the fuck do we not even know like the guaranteed? This is the real truth.
So the real truth is everybody is unique.
Okay.
So what we teach at Truth Freedom Health is, number one, the fact that that there are principles which govern every system in the universe.
Yeah.
All right. Now, I used to teach this at MIT. So system science is the education that every human being must learn in the 21st century right now.
Mm-hmm.
What is system science? Henry Kissinger learns it. George Soros is a theoretician in it. Brzezinski. Every person who works for them understands the science of systems.
Mm-hmm.
It is the engineering physics that you use to control the 8 billion people.
Yeah.
Okay. There is a science. You have to ask yourself, how is it 100,000 people control 8 billion people? How do they do that? There's a science to it. And that science came out in the 1900s with the work of cybernetics. Then it led into the field of information theory. And that field was developed it's called control systems theory.
Mm-hmm.
It shows up in that thermostat over there. It shows up in your iPhone camera right now, which is automatically adjusting the lighting. Okay. It shows up in your windshield wiper.
It says like overheating. Should I hit like the settings?
Let me see.
Yeah.
All right. So these guys so the science of systems is really a fundamental science.
Oh, fire.
It's on fire.
Do you have any scientific solutions to the phone being on fire?
Let me see.
The
What do you have
Samsung.
connected to it?
The mics.
Does that mic need to be on it?
Not necessarily, actually. I can probably take this off. That might have to do with it.
Yeah, you have, did that help?
Uh,
Do you have a lot of stuff running on there?
no. Here, let me close everything.
Make sure you don't have any other processes running on there.
Yeah, there's no other tabs open.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. What is that? Is that an iPhone?
It's the newest Samsung. Can you fix the camera angle again?
Yeah.
Yeah, those were going on fires, weren't they?
The newest Samsungs?
No, the older ones.
I don't know. I don't like it. It's better for streaming, but I've had a lot of
All right,
issues
so
with
we
it.
have some interesting. So anyway, the point is,
I can take that off.
Yeah. we don't need this.
No, because they're disconnected now.
Okay, so the bottom line is there is a science to
Yeah.
understand how every system in the universe works. So if you look at that camera as a system, this clock is a system, right?
Yep.
This mouse is a system. Your body is a system. So the issue is, what are the common principles across politics as a system, healthcare system? So when you really explore this, you find out that there are 9 principles which govern every system.
Mhm.
Once you understand those principles, you can understand how manipulation takes place. And engineers understand system science. Grifters don't understand system science. Politicians don't understand system science. Lawyers don't understand it. Doctors don't understand it. But when you understand it, you can apply this to everything. So let me just give you a quick view here. So one of the technologies I created was a tool called Your Body, Your System. Now, this integrates ancient systems of medicine, combined with engineering system science. So in ancient systems of medicine, they did not. So if you had a weight issue and you had an overweight issue and you had an overweight issue, if you all three had diabetes, they didn't say, oh, you should all take this food. Everyone should go on a ketogenic diet or everyone should do this. Based on your particular system state, even though you had the same
issue,
you would get very different nutrients.
that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this tool that I created helps you figure out what kind of system you are, and then helps you figure out where your system is today. That's a black dot.
Have you heard of like Gary Brecka? Do you think that's all bullshit?
I don't know what he does.
He says like send a DNA sample and then they can analyze your DNA and say,
Well,
you lack this.
he's heading in the right direction, but he's going to spend 1,000 years on that approach. The ancient systems of medicine already figured this out.
Mhm.
So we don't need to create a new technique.
Yeah.
What I uncovered was that when you look at these ancient systems of medicine and you relate it to engineering system science, I discovered this connective tissue,
Mhm.
which bridges modern engineering science with traditional systems of medicine. But what that reveals to us is that the problem with all of these people who just promote a particular diet, you'll see over the last 30 years, oh, eat a raw food diet. Okay. Then people eat raw food and they get all fucked up looking. Okay. Oh, be a vegan. Well, they do that and they get fucked up looking after a while. Okay. Well, I'm going to just do ketogenic and intermittent fasting. Then they have electrolyte issues. Okay. You keep going down the list. The reality is everybody has a unique state, and it's not just your DNA. You're also sitting on a globe, which is spinning around.
Is the Earth a globe?
Well, the data seems to show it is. The flat earthers, if they want to do that, if they want to disprove it otherwise, what I challenge them to do is let's actually figure out a scientific experiment that everyone agrees to do it and do it.
Yeah.
So if you're going to challenge,
We get a big rope and we tie it across the earth. And if it doesn't go across,
Well, there are other things you can do, but what happens, you get both people together in a room, as should occur in science, right? And you say, this is the experiment we're going to agree to do, and let's go gather data on that, and you analyze it. But this is what's happening. You have grifters who will just say whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah, I hate that's my least favorite thing about the space is when people will know that they're lying about something and they'll purposely spread misinformation. That's
Right. So you
and they're
can-
on the same side as me. I'm like, you're making the whole side just look terrible.
right. And the reason that
And
happens,
that's probably your frustration.
well,
with the
Sonny,
whole
no, the
space.
reason that happens is in every issue, when independent people who don't have a horse in the race like me expose a real issue, like that diagram over there is what we exposed in Massachusetts, the entire election fraud system. We discovered the backdoor portal into Twitter. We told Fucker Carlson, all these guys about it. They didn't do anything. Okay. So when you find the real issue and you do it independently, what happens is a very interesting dynamic. First, they conceal the truth because they don't want to give limelight to independent people exposing the truth, because now they're going to get real followers.
Mhm.
So they wait and wait and wait. They conceal the information. The other thing they do is they create a fake version of that to confuse people. You see, so you start exposing the real issue with Israel, which is Zionism, and suddenly all the establishment release all the anti-Semites, the real anti-Semites, because they want to cloud it. So that's why last month the Congress passed a bill. Sorry, the House passed a bill which said that moving forward they're going to equate anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism. It passed a bill 310 to 70.
Yeah, I saw that.
You see, and that was done because people like me were doing the hard work or doing the work, really exposing what anti-Zionism is versus anti-Semitism. Same with the election fraud you saw. We really exposed what the real issue was. And wacky people like Mike Lindell, other grifters, started exposing wackadoodle shit, which had nothing to do with the real election fraud. And then that allowed the establishment to attack those fools. So you have to be aware that, okay, let's say the earth may be flat. Well, let's really do the experiments. If you want to do that, let's all get together in a room, have a scientific conference and do it. But then the weirdos come and they throw crazy shit out there. So then it actually stops even having a real discourse on that. So if you want to talk about the immune system, let's talk about the immune system. But then you have people start saying, oh, there's this weird stuff in the virus and all. They take it to another wackadoodle level.
Yeah.
You say?
Yeah, they say there's like microchips and stuff.
Whatever. Okay, if there is, let's do a real experiment. If you want to really fund that, let's do the experiments. Let's get cytologists to do it, but they won't do that.
Mhm.
You say?
Yeah.
So I believe those wackadoodle people are part of the establishment. They're doing that so we don't go after the real issue. We saw this happen when I exposed in 5 scientific papers about genetically engineered foods. We did the research. We showed that when you manipulate the genome in the soy plant the soy plant will downregulate glutathione. Put it simply, it stops producing a very important antioxidant. We did that. Suddenly you see this fake scientist at MIT suddenly comes out of nowhere, starts mimicking our stuff, but making wackadoodle claims.
Just to
So-
make your stuff look stupid.
Yes. Or
This
so
makes perfect sense.
yeah,
what
so
you're saying,
so this is classic Mossad operation. Mossad's slogan is through deception thou shalt do war. That's their slogan. Through deception thou shalt
Is
do
that
war.
really their slogan? Like if you Google that, that's
Yeah, go.
what it
Let's go.
says.
Let's go Google it right now.
Mossad
Yeah.
slogan.
Mossad
No way.
slogan. Okay.
It's a quote from the Bible.
Yeah, through deception.
English.
Deception. Okay. Yeah. By way of deception thou shalt do war.
Wow.
Okay. So
Yeah.
by way of deception. So when you say, "Oh my God, poor Trump, he was convicted," are you
Yeah.
fucking serious? He made $250 million. No, he will never go to jail. Has he ever gone to jail?
Yeah,
No,
I
he's
get it.
fucking WWE wrestling. Everything's been scripted.
Yeah.
Okay. Everything is fucking scripted. So the fucking grifters, if they're supporting Trump, you're fucking working for Trump. You're part of the Zionist hoodlum group. So don't tell me you're anti-Zionist and be fucking
then
pussyfooting around on Trump.
And then suck off Vivek. Yeah.
Yeah, you are part of the. So any anti-Zionist who is saying, "Well, I wish Trump would be like this," why the fuck are you saying that?
Yeah, and then there's some people that say Trump has to do that, like play the game to get into office, and he's
right.
really
He
on
has
our
to play the
side,
game.
but-
Poor Trump. He lives in Mar-a-Lago. He gets to bang fucking prostitutes. Poor Trump. He gets to bang prostitutes while he's got his wife pregnant. Poor fucking Trump. Poor Trump. Are you fucking serious? Try to get into Mar-a-Lago. You better cough up $250,000 to get in. You know, Trump contacted me he's praised me in many, many big rallies. I thank the great scientist, Dr.SHIVA. He contacted me to come down to Mar-a-Lago. And that's after he had endorsed a guy in Massachusetts who stole my election. And you can see all the emails. My assistant respectfully refused to go. 99% of grifters would be there sucking Trump's hog right now. Okay.
Yeah.
I refused to go. And then he invited me again. We went there and it was a 2-hour, very interesting meeting. He was apologizing to me why he promoted that guy. And then he didn't want to give one penny to really do research and fight election fraud. So you got to understand, anyone promoting Trump and acting like they feel sorry for him and at the same time saying they're anti-Zionist is a fucker. You see what I'm saying? Because if you're going to be anti-Zionist, you got to walk that straight and narrow path. You got to expose Trump. You got to expose Booby Kennedy. You have to expose all these fuckers. But if you're playing this slime ball game, oh, I'm a MAGA communist. Are you fucking serious? See, they're playing this game. They're being duplicitous. Once you're anti-Zionist, you must expose all these fuckers. And if you don't do that with vehemence, you're fucking part of the problem because you're manipulating people. Because all those MAGA people, many of them who are good, hardworking people, are being manipulated. You have a duty to break them from them and say, you know what? The only fucking guy who's anti-Zionist and works for you is Dr.SHIVA. Period. The facts are right there. But if you're playing this game because you want views and clicks, you have a profit
Yeah, because
motive.
it's not popular to support Dr.SHIVA. Yeah. I get
Well,
what you're
no. It's not popular. It's more that you think you're going to play this opportunist game. Oh, I don't want to lose the Trump followers. You see, when I exposed Trump in 2020, and by the way, I didn't just wear a Trump hat. I put up thousands of signs for him in the cold. I gave him money. And when I discovered what the fuck he was, I had to do the dirty work of exposing him. I lost 20% of my followers. Be a man. Fucking stand up for what you believe in. Don't be a fucking pussy. And then at the same time say, well, I'm against transgender. I'm anti-woke. Really? I would say you're invaginated if you're doing that. You see all these grifters, well, I'm against this transgender stuff, right? But they don't take very clear stands. Who's really transgender? You may not have had a surgery, but you are brain-wise fucking transgendering yourself because you're not taking a clear position. Real men take very clear positions.
What do you mean? The people that say like, "Oh, you do it, do your thing."
No, what I'm saying is you have a bunch of people on the quote unquote right attacking these people who are gay and who are transgender, right? So on.
Okay.
Those same people, and why are they doing that? Because they are trying to assert some type of masculinity among of themselves, what they mean masculine is. But they don't take a noble stand against Trump. They play this game. You say
Yeah,
they're pussies.
because Trump was Trump.
No,
was
they're
all-
fucking pussies.
Trump for transgenders for Trump. I've seen it.
No. What I'm talking about, these grifters
Okay.
who say, well, I'm anti-woke, right?
Yeah.
They attack the left.
Yeah.
They attack the people in blue hair and all that. Follow?
Yep.
Attacking these people, whatever, they're going through some sexual whatever issue they're going through. What I'm saying, these people who are doing that, who don't take a clear stand against people like Trump, are in fact, quote unquote, transgender.
Yeah.
They might not be physically, but emotionally, that's what they are. Because if you're a man, a real man, and a real adult, you take a clear position.
You're standing up for this part of truth,
Yes.
but not this part of truth.
You're not standing up for truth, period. You're fucking scammer.
Yeah.
You're bi.
Grifting.
You're bi.
You're bi.
Yeah, you're bisexual in a sense.
Playing both
You're
sides.
the
You're
B.
playing bucking both sides. Yeah. These grifters are bisexuals, quote unquote bisexuals. No, seriously.
Yeah.
These people, at least, they're openly saying I'm bisexual or I'm transgender. But these so-called, I'm a MAGA guy, I'm for Trump, and I'm exposing da da da. Oh, really? Then why didn't you fucking expose Trump, motherfucker? Oh, well, oh, well, I need his followers. I'm trying to create my network. That's why I fucking was upset at Nico.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a man. I go lift weights. I get boxed. Really? Then fucking be a real man, Sneeko. Be a real fucking man. You fucking grifters. Be a real man.
The chat's gonna go crazy.
Yeah.
Chat's probably-
Fucking pussies. You look at my work. We put ourselves out there.
Like, I'm excited
Okay.
to see the next Nico
So
and
your
Dr. Shiva
generation needs to
stream.
decide whether it wants to be quote unquote MAGA bisexuals
Yo,
or do they want to be real men?
You want to pivot and ask him like what it's like his life, because we had that in there in the notes.
I got it. Yeah.
Some stuff.
I got it.
All
Yeah.
right, everyone. Let me just take a look. Everyone out there, let me take a quick break. If you want to support us, go get one of these bumper stickers. Notice I haven't asked for money.
Yeah.
If you had one of these fucking grifters, give me money.
You
Give me
charged
money.
me. You charged me for this interview. I'm just kidding. Bad
No, I
joke.
didn't.
Bad joke. Bad joke. He didn't charge me.
You'll make money off this interview. Okay.
Yeah.
So this bumper sticker, everyone should get. If you are a real man, and put it on the back of your car. Take a stand. Well, I don't know if Dr. Shiva can win. You see how fucked up? That's a house nigga mentality. He's talking like that. Okay. What are you talking about winning? You're talking about winning. You're on their fucking plantation. And talking about winning is recognizing the real win.
The real.
The real win is supporting those people like me who are coming bottoms up who want to get you off the plantation.
The real massa.
Yeah, Massachusetts.
That's good.
We're in Massachusetts, as Jason said, right? So you got to figure out if you want to get off the Massachusetts plantation.
Massa will take us out of Massachusetts.
Yeah, that's what it's about. Look, so, our movement, Truth, Freedom, Health, has real men and real women. People go out, collect signatures. People go out ringing in the snow. We have highly enlightened people. And we have very little patience now for fucking grifters. We have very little patience now for people who don't want to get focused and want to shatter the swarm. Because to them, talking about the establishment is just a way to get views and clicks. They don't want to fucking do anything. Right? Because they don't really have a horse in the race. They figured out some way to play the game. So how are they different than P. Diddy? They're not.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little.
They're not. They all play the game. You're headed down playing the game. It's like Faust. You're playing with the devil.
I mean, personally, I'd say that one's definitely a little bit worse, but I get
No,
what
it
you're
isn't.
saying.
No, it isn't. Why is it worse? Let's have this conversation. Why is it worse?
I mean, I don't know all the specifics exactly.
That means
about
you.
what
That means
Diddy
you
did.
rather get fucked from behind versus someone fucking you from the front. That's what you're telling me. That's what you're
I
telling me.
just.
You rather people backstab you in the
I'm
back.
I'm on the.
You
pursuit
rather
of truth.
people smooth talk you, right? That's what the liberal white elites do.
Mhm.
Malcolm X said it very well. He said, the wolf comes at you straight. The fox, these northern foxes, act like they're anti-racist, but they're the true racists.
Mm,
And I experience this every day.
yeah.
So don't be a fucking hoodlum. Don't be clever, man. Don't try to be clever. Be real. Cleverness catches up.
Keep it real.
Keep it very real.
I have a question.
Unless you want to be a Zionist cocksucker. I don't want you to head down that road.
No. Trust me.
Either
I'm
you're
past that.
either you're going to
But
be
it's like
sucking the cocksuck of a Zionist cocksucker, or you can go direct. So if you want to be a Zionist cocksucker, go direct to Netanyahu.
just go.
Why
Suck,
do- yeah,
just
go
go
straight.
suck off Netanyahu.
Yeah, why do you want
just get
to-
my record deal and just
Yeah, just do it. Just
Sure.
do that. Just do that. You know, be a pedophile and go for it. Why fuck around? Why act like
why beat
you're
around the bush?
yeah? Why act like you're fighting for other people? You see, that's pure devil.
I wouldn't
That's
say
what-
it's pure devil.
Yes, it is.
But like
Yes,
But
it is.
I know these guys, and it's not.
I
like
don't
we
give a
have,
fuck
like,
if you know them.
like
Look at their
back-end-
actions.
back end conversations of like I'm gonna grift this to do this. Like I don't, it's,
No,
it,
it's
I feel
not
like it is
that.
a
It's
journey
not-
of pursuing truth, and then like
Not
conversations with
once.
you. Help,
No. Here's
and then
the.
it's because like they don't want to go and put bumper stickers on cars and get out.
That's
and do
not what
the
it
dirty
is.
work.
Okay, if you have a next door, if you know your next door neighbor's a fucking rapist,
Yeah.
and you've learned that rape is bad, and you know there's other people willing to fight rape, and you just stand quiet, and you're claiming to other people, you
Okay.
do podcasts. I'm against rape.
Ugh.
I'm da da da.
Yeah.
Okay, that is a fucking goddamn devil.
Mm.
I fucking stand against Zionism. Oh, really? The only fucking anti-Zionist candidate is Dr.SHIVA.
Then-
And you're not fucking supporting him? You're a bullshitter. You're talking all this anti-Zionist stuff. A fucking election is coming up. Who is the only anti-Zionist candidate? Me.
And
Who has 4 degrees from MIT? Who invented the first email system? Who's done the fucking work? Me. So who else is qualified to be president? Who actually solves problems? And you sit there and you fucking grift? I say, fuck you.
I get that. I do get that.
Yeah. So, you know, in the path that you take by making excuses, you say,
Mhm.
you're headed in that immoral direction.
Yeah. If you're gonna call it Zionism, call them all out. Because what
Well,
people
no,
will
support those people who are on the ground fighting it.
Yeah, and support the people fighting it.
Right. Don't just put
Understandable.
pictures of dead babies all day. You see, that's the other thing that these grifters are doing. Baby after baby after baby. Now, I started asking this question, where are they getting all these pictures?
Where?
If you see a lot of these grifters claiming to be anti-Zionist, they just put pictures of dead baby after dead baby, Palestinian babies,
Yeah.
right? Where are they getting those pictures?
I don't know.
Ask yourself. After the Vietnam War, the United States had a policy of making sure journalists could never go in and expose the brutality of war.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been seeing now all these grifters. Oh my God, Palestine, right? Sharing pictures of dead babies, if you've seen that.
Yep, I've seen it.
So what it does to the brain ultimately desensitizes it. It's like what they used to do in the 70s where they used to show bloated babies in Africa who didn't have any food, right? So remember, Mossad's slogan is through deception, thou shalt do war. This is an information war. So you keep showing dead babies. And then on campuses, when students were organically rising up, you show the police go and brutally put that down. Now, what does that do to young guys like you?
Demoralizes us.
Yeah, the next real war that comes, ooh, I can't be an anti-war person. I can't mobilize movements. I'm going to get attacked. The pictures that they showed were like what they did in the 70s in Kent State or the 60s.
Mm.
So it's not sufficient to just share pictures all day. You have to get on the ground. You have to mobilize people. The future is offline.
Yeah.
You know, this flyer, Jason, where's that flyer? Is that flyer over there? Yeah, give me that flyer. So, you know, what I learned at MIT when I was a student activist was a one-page flyer like this, okay? You can reach a lot of fucking people.
Yeah.
More powerful than social media. So they don't want you going out in the cold on the train station passing these out because you're literally having conversations with people, meeting people.
That face-to-face interaction is.
Yeah,
worth so
this
much more, yeah.
medium is totally controlled. One day they can say, okay, I want that grifter up there because he's serving my interests. And the other day they turn off the people who are actually exposing truth, you say? So they have it down to a science right now. This future is offline.
I have a question. So
Yep.
you studied marketing. You worked on marketing for some really big companies. And so I noticed a consistency that liberals use. And what I call it is the liberal emotional defense, aka like phrasing psyops. So I just want to read some of these to you and then just get your thoughts or like what marketing tactic that this actually is that they're using. So stuff like protect trans kids, Black Lives Matter, the gay flag being a rainbow, like something beautiful and biblical, gender affirming care, anti-racism, phobic, You're killing grandmas. Trans rights are human rights. Protect from misinformation, aka censorship. Love is love. What are like the consistencies with all of these? Because this is something that they very frequently do. Is where they
Right,
make
but
some-
what you've left out, you see, you're in with the one camp because you didn't leave out all the phrases that conservatives use.
Mm. Okay,
Let's go through their phrases.
like what?
Oh, they're woke, right? That's what they use. Those people are woke. Oh, we're into meritocracy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, right? Go down all the phrases that they do. Oh, they want these illegal. That we got to stop the. We got to stop the border. Okay, we're against illegal immigrants. These people are stealing from us. So the conservatives have their phrases, and you can make a list of those, but you left those out.
Mm-hmm.
If you had asked, hey, Dr. Shiva, the conservatives say this and the woke people say this, let's look at their messaging.
I feel like the liberals do a better job with their propaganda campaigns though than the
Make America great again. It's a pretty good slogan, right?
me. Yeah.
Drain the swamp, lock her up.
Yeah.
Did any of that happen?
No.
Nothing happened. In fact, the people got locked up. So Trump is a marketer. Whether he does it, he's got other people doing it. All those slogans were designed and vetted, just like all the slogans you said from the
Literally
liberal.
people in like a marketing conference room going.
They
over
literally, it's WWE, man. It's literally watching two buffoons fight. So for one wing of the working class, they give this, and for the other wing, they give this. And as long as they have us divided, we don't look at who the real problem is and don't realize that they hate you. Both wings of the establishment hate you. And what they have is they've created the obvious establishment on the Democrats and Republicans, and then they have the other one, the not so obvious and the obvious establishment. You see, it's a matrix. Democrat, Republican, left, right, and another axis, obvious and not so obvious. So if you fill in that 2x2 matrix, you have the Bushes, the obvious right establishment, the Clintons, the obvious left, and then you have the not so obvious, Bernie Sanders. So he's used to sucker in all the young people. And then you have Trump, and then you have Booby Kennedy. You see, these people just say enough things, and they have their slogans, and they trade slogans. They figure out which slogan they can use.
Okay, Trump, you got MAGA. Okay,
Exactly.
you got this one.
You nailed it.
Yeah.
That is what's going on. You get MAGA, you get this. And we divide up the spoils. 50. I mean, why are these fucking elections always so close? 49% to 47%. Have you ever thought about that?
Yeah.
70% of people don't even fucking bother voting. But when I ran in Massachusetts, 60% of people came out were what I call the dark matter. People do not vote. They don't want the dark matter rising. You ever see that movie, Dark Knight Rises?
Yeah.
They don't want darky rising.
They don't want the darkies.
And you can take it in, no pun intended.
They don't want the budgie.
They don't want dark matter rising
I'm just
because,
joking.
95% of the universe is dark matter.
Is there a big Indian population that would vote for you?
No, most Indians are fucking racist.
They just hate non-Indians.
No, because
Wait, why
again,
do Indians? Why
no,
do
first of all, you got to
love-
ask. You got to ask the right question again.
Well,
We talked about
let me
Jews and Zionists.
Let me ask it
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
Why do Indians love Zionists so much?
Which Indians?
The poopy Indians.
Which Indians? Do
Like-
I like Zionists?
No.
So you got
I'm
to
saying like
no. You have to make this class distinction.
the Baljeets.
You
Is
have
that
to make.
racist?
You have to make. No, stop. Okay.
Okay.
Let's educate you. Okay. There's class differences. Working class.
It's hot again. I don't know what you want me to
Just hit okay.
So the vast majority of Indians are from the lower caste.
Okay.
The upper caste Indians, who are like the chosen people, Zionists,
Yeah.
believe everyone else is full of shit.
Okay.
Okay. Those Indians are like this with the Zionists. You understand?
Yeah.
It's like Zionists, Brahminists, Nazis of the world unite. They're all people who believe in this one philosophy
Mm.
that 0.001% of the people should rule over the 8 billion. And so they come up with some philosophy. Oh, well, the Germans came from this race, whatever, we're better, right? Blue eyes, blonde hair, right? Then this other people say, oh, we came from, we're blah, blah, blah. And the other people say, oh, we played a Ram this way and we do these rituals, so we're better. You see?
Yeah.
So they make up fucking shit and they get everyone else to buy into this crap, right? So the Indians we're talking about are the Brahmins. When I first came to MIT, I didn't even know about MIT until 2 weeks before I applied. Most of the Indians that were sitting there were from the Indians from India who were Brahmins, and they would try to figure out my last name because I came from the quote unquote the lower caste. So my friends at MIT were poor whites from the inner cities, poor blacks, poor Hispanics. Those Indians were racist motherfuckers. Okay. And now the Zionists have the Brahmins running most of the tech companies. Okay. Which is what the British did in India. The British had most of Gandhi and all these people. You see, Gandhi was like another fucking sellout. Okay. He was created by the British swarm to suppress brown people. So in all these countries, if you go look at it, they always find a black guy to suppress his own black people. Like Nelson Mandela, complete fucker. Okay.
Fucker Mandela.
Fucker Mandela. He came. So in South Africa, there was a bottoms up movement that really wanted liberation for the black people. The elite white racists found Mandela. And I had friends of mine who were in prison with Mandela. You know, there were different trends within the ANC. They said Mandela was the dumbest guy there. So the elites found Mandela, pushed him, and you saw what happened in South Africa now. It's a hellhole still. Black people are still fucked over. Zuma, his presidential candidate that followed up, stole, $100 million. Black guy. So this is what happens. The swarm, black, white, red, yellow is a swarm. So we have to make a distinction when you mean this Indians. So again, you have some foolish people using this racist terms like Pajits and stuff. Okay? It's fucking racist. You guys shouldn't support that. You guys should call out Brahmins. The elite Brahmins of India. Get it fucking clear. Because then
what percentage of India are Brahmins?
0.001%. Same thing. It's always a few, control the many. Because from the time they're born, literally like the Jewish Zionists,
they're convinced that they're the chosen
They literally
people.
tell their kids, you're better, you're better, you're better. They fucking brainwash them. So give you an idea, when I moved to Livingston, New Jersey, and you can look up where Livingston is, that's where Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner were living.
Yeah.
I won a major award. I was like the best fucking student, not only in sports, but in also in athletes. 900 kids, the only dark-skinned Indian kid. So when I won this big award, and my mom had just been put into the hospital, she was in a major accident, I got a huge standing ovation. Everyone was very supportive of what I had done. Typically, they choose 2 kids to get the math award, first and runner up. There was no one even close to me. The teacher said in 32 years, there's no one even close to Shiva. Okay. That's how hard I worked. Okay. And I was pretty smart. When I was leaving that auditorium, I was more concerned about my mother. This lunatic Jewish woman comes running up to me and my father, and she goes, your son has done nothing great. My son, very angry, hateful. She said, my son could have done better and he could have gotten that award had he decided to work that year. That's the way they fucking think.
That's
so I've been around this chosen people concept all my life. From India to here, everywhere. That's why I despise it. So you have to be very fucking careful. Ha ha ha, Pajits. Shut the fuck up, motherfucker, you racist piece of shit. It's racist.
I'm learning. I didn't know.
Well, don't get lost. Now you've learned. It may seem funny, but you're falling into the trap because then the Brahmins will say, see, they're attacking Indians.
They'll laugh, be like, look at, we got the white guy calling them.
Exactly. Call them Brahmins. Call them Zionists.
I've never even heard the term Brahmin until you said
Well, now you fucking heard it. Brahminism equals Nazism equals Zionism. You guys got to study, man. Go to Truth, Freedom, Health. Look, one of the things we've done is we have what we did was we have our leadership, global leadership. So we asked all of our global leadership at our last leadership meeting, how did you get into our movement? And we distilled it down to around 8 videos. Some people came in because I exposed a climate change scam. Other people came because I exposed Fauci. Other people came because I exposed GMOs. So we've created a compendium of those videos. It'll only take you 2 hours. It'll save you 20 years. So go to truthfreedomhealth.com, sign up. It's free. Go through that fucking course because I don't want to deal with ignorant fucking people, right? I want to surround myself with intelligent people who want to fucking go fight.
Truthfreedomhealth.org.
.com.
Okay.
Go to truthfreedomhealth.com and support our campaign.
I'm going to watch that later.
Go to Truth Freedom Health, sign up as a member, watch all those videos. You'll start with Shatter the Swarm. You'll understand who controls you. And then if you want to get ready to fight, then become a Truth Freedom Health Warrior Scholar. But we're looking for people who actually want to fight. We don't want to, and to me, those are men and women. And we're been blessed with about 500,000 people throughout the world who are coming to us who really want to fight. And they want to learn. they see, I did a video exposing Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
A lot of people see that, and initially they have cognitive dissonance, and they say, fuck, everything Dr. Shiva says is true. Now they have to go through a different journey. They have to say, what the fuck am I going to do?
Yeah, Joe Rogan isn't my God that I listen to every time I go to work.
Right. But I'm saying your generation has an opportunity not to become bisexuals. In my definition of bisexuals.
I get what you're saying.
Right?
Yeah.
That's Dr. Shiva's new definition, meaning saying you're against the establishment.
Being anti-LGBT and then being pro-Trump. Yeah.
Right. That's bisexual. That's a new definition of bisexuality. It is.
Yeah, that's funny.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So if you're talking about the 1% and, like in India, the Brahmins and in
0.1, 0.00. Yeah.
0.01, yeah. So what would the equivalent of that be like in Ireland, and who would that like?
Well, look, ultimately, this is a class issue.
Yeah.
What they don't want us to talk about is a class struggle, because they always equate that to capital C communism, right? And this has been what the elites want us to do. And the left, quote unquote, the left wing has basically reduced Marxism to nonsense, okay? There was an active effort among the left to reduce the workers' movements to talking about transgenderism and sexuality. And this is why the right reacted with, talking about anti-immigrant stuff, right?
Yep.
But we still don't talk about the real issue. The real issue is that working people of the world are being fucked, and they want to actually destroy the population. That's why those stats show. They actually hate you. And I want to repeat this again. If you are supporting any of these people and don't want to support one of us, guys like me, either you have self-hatred and you actually are supporting people who fucking hate you.
You're bisexual.
Yeah, we should go. Yeah, you're bi.
You're bi.
You're saying you're anti-LGBT or anti-Zionist, but you're pro-Zionist.
You're bi.
You're basically a schizophrenic. You're
Yeah.
fucking schizo. It's even worse. Oh, I'm anti-Zionist, but I'm going to suck Trump's cock. I'm anti-Zionist. Ooh, Trump got convicted. I'm so into woke. I'm not woke. I really get it all. But then you're supporting these fucking Zionists.
So it's the Trump thing, for example. That's all just to make people think that they're anti-system. Like, oh, I'm going to be a rebel and vote for the guy that's getting convicted right now.
No, what it is so you're close. So this is
Okay.
what's happened. Again, if you go to Truth, Freedom, Health, you learn all this. It took me a lot of years to figure this out and put it into a curricula. Okay, it's free. Go fucking learn it. And if you don't learn it, I've taken away that barrier to entry. So again, say, you don't have the money. Shut the fuck up and go watch the videos. Okay. What do those videos reveal to you? They reveal to you this dynamic.
Yeah.
You see, so the establishment in the old days when we were on the plantation and you try to run away, they just whip you and hang you and lynch you. Okay.
Sorry, massa.
Exactly. Direct attack on you. Okay. Brutally through fascism. Then when people started rising up bottoms up in the 1900s, they said, fuck, these people know how to rise up. They're going to have their own heroes. When they killed people's heroes, people made martyrs of them and it became worse. So now what the swarm does is they create fake heroes, fake fighters for free speech. Elon Musk, where Elon Musk begins and government ends, nobody knows. Okay. So they create these fake people, fake underdogs to hide real underdogs like myself, because they know the power of the underdog story. They know deep in the human psyche is a love for people who come from below and fight. So they're creating fake underdogs. You think Trump's a fucking underdog? Come on. Do you think he's a fucking underdog? The Kennedys, poor Kennedys, they got shot. Well, one fucking organized crime wing shoots another organized crime wing. It's like the Corleones shoot out the Zabratis. And we're like, oh my God, poor the Zabratis got knocked out. You see what I'm trying to say? Who the fuck cares about why John Kennedy got shot? We shouldn't care about that. As Malcolm X said, the chickens came home to roost. So they have us, the people who they hate, loving them. How fucked up is this? We should love ourselves. This is the mind fucking brainwashing. This is why I have a serious problem with grifters who understand this, say, yeah, thank you, Dr. Shiva, and then go fucking suck Zionist cock all day. It's really bad. They're worse. You understand what I'm saying? Why these people are worse? Now you get it?
I get what you're saying.
I'd rather have people, I'd rather speak to a Joe Biden or a Hillary Clinton, because they're going to fuck you. versus saying, oh, yeah, I'm anti-Zionist. I'm just, thank you, Dr. Shiva. That's great. Wow. Ooh, ooh, wow. Thank you. And then they go suck Zionist cock the next day. They don't expose Trump. They don't expose Booby Kennedy. They don't expose Biden.
Cooking right now.
Now, I have a lot of my friends who will say, oh my God, Joe Biden's bad. Joe Biden. I said, you know what? For half the time you've talked about Joe Biden, why didn't half the time you expose Trump? Or at least a third Trump, third Biden? I would have respect for you. But you're in one of their camps. And by doing that, you are actually implicitly supporting one camp. Why the hell are you doing that? That's why the best thing I can think about it is people need to understand these people hate you. If you look at the back of this card that we have, that we hand out, let's see, it's the graph over there. That graph literally has a graph of life expectancy going down. Okay?
Let me show them too.
Right. So that graph has and it's in our flyer. Okay? The lesser of evils is killing your children. So
the lesser of evils is killing your children.
Right.
That's a crazy quote.
Yeah. And this has been going on for 50, 80 years. They hate you. Men's testicles, 100% of men's testicles have fucking plastics in the microplastics. All of their policies are out to destroy your health. And you are fucking loving them. And you're saying that Dr. Shiva can't win. That's the way you're fucking thinking. What the fuck's your problem?
Do you wear cotton underwear?
Yeah, I do.
Same.
Good. That's good.
I think
Congratulations.
the
First step.
First. I'm in first grade now.
Yeah, good step.
Of the truth fight.
Yeah, now you need to just take off the diapers, the grifter diapers.
Plugs.
Huh?
The butt plugs.
Yeah, supporting grifters all day. Yeah.
No,
Seriously, your generation has an opportunity to really change, or you guys are going to be the last generation of schizophrenics. Mass schizophrenia is going on among the grifter class. That's what they want to promote.
Yeah, people just losing their minds, thinking they find truth every month with this new discovery.
The fundamental truth, all truth is one truth, and one truth is the same, that the establishment does not want us to build an independent, not like independent like party, a truly independent bottoms-up movement where we understand how they fuck us. And we realize that the real enemies are the people who claim they want to help us. Who fucking crucified Christ? It wasn't the Romans. It was the Sadducees and the Pharisees, the grifters of the time, who talked about the word of God. And he's the one who he went and whipped them, right, in the temple. And the Pharisees, they're the ones who ganged up. The people who gang up against me, ultimately, will not be the obvious establishment. It will be the Kennedys and the Trumps, because they realize they are the real devils. And they collude with the establishment to make sure that I'm made invisible. And that's why you guys have a fucking duty, because you're looking at the real fucking deal. And our movement's a real deal. And I'm not fucking around joking. It is.
I know.
And if there was something else out there, I wouldn't be doing this. I would be doing Cytosolve all day. I have many other things I'd like to do, but I dedicated my life to shattering the swarm because they fucking hate you. They hate me. They hate you. They hate you. They hate you. And they hate all your fucking families. Because if they didn't hate you, why the fuck is lifespan dropping like this? They eat all organic food. Booby Kennedy talks about, oh, I'm against the vaccine. But in his house, everyone had to be vaccinated. And then he blames his wife. Fucking fool.
His family's vaccinated?
Yeah, I have the video. Want me to play? He says, I believe in full vaccination of all Americans. I had all my kids vaccinated. And then he goes into this forked tongue. This is the devil. But when I get into office, I'm going to create safe vaccines. You see how fucking slimy these people are?
You're really big in the health space. Are all vaccines just poison? Like, I don't think my kids a single one.
This is a reality. Okay.
Okay.
The right medicine for the right person at the right time. What is a vaccine? What is it? It is artificial immunization.
Correct.
Okay.
Well,
let me tell you another vaccine, that quote unquote a vaccine. There was a thing called variolation.
Mm-hmm.
What variolation was a technique that was created by that was brought to the United States by a black African slave. So George Washington inoculated all of his troops with the smallpox virus. How did he do that? Well, in Africa, if one village was getting a virus, or vaccine or whatever, or an antigen,
Mhm.
they would immediately know that thing was going to spread to the other village and it could shut down all the farming. So they would make a small abrasion on the people's wrists, and then put the pus of that thing on it. It was to stimulate that immune system. They used to do this with animals. So if one horse was getting a disease in a village, they would put a big, a sheet over the horse, have it sneeze, and they take it to all the other horses. Now they did this for practical reasons. It was a form of inoculation because they didn't want some horses. It'd rather all the horses together get sick and they overcome it because they had farming season coming up. You say, very practical method. That was a quote unquote vaccine. Okay, they were accelerating a natural way.
So it's basically giving you some of the
Yes.
disease,
So we
and
used
then
to
your
have-
body built up an antibody.
Yeah. So
to fight it.
when I was growing up,
That's what I was taught vaccines were growing up. Is that you're getting a little bit
in the 60s, you talk to your parents, they said measles parties. When Johnny got measles, everyone went over to his house and you got it and you got stronger. Okay.
Mhm.
So that you could call as quote unquote an immunization. Now, what happened was they thought in their cleverness, they would create their own form of immunization. So like if he sneezed on you, let's see how him sneezed on you. I'm not sneezing, but if he sneezed on you, okay, particles from his body go into you. Let's say a active antigen, okay? So what they decided was, okay, we're going to take a deadened form of that antigen, put it into a syringe and shoot it into you.
Basically an artificial antibody.
Yes. And when an artificial antigen.
And that's the better word for it.
Well, antigens create antibodies.
Okay.
So that's what they were trying to mimic. But the problem is those things that they were trying to create didn't work as a natural process. So they started having to add adjuvants in there to make it work, right? It's like eating food versus trying to create a vitamin. When they try to create a vitamin, you have to add all this other stuff to make it bioavailable. You say?
Mhm.
So that's a vaccine game, okay? The reality is the policies that we've done over the last 70 years, kids don't play outside. Parents are told to make everything sterile, right? So kids' immune systems are being destroyed.
Yeah, my mom was never like that. She was always like, rub your face in the dirt.
Really?
Don't be a pussy. Yeah,
Oh.
my mom was really big on me building up my immune
Yeah.
system.
So she knew what she was doing. Yeah.
She's based.
My dad was too.
Yeah. So that's good.
What's the phone at?
Yeah. So someone just said here people would put mercury, formaldehyde, other adjuvants in it, right? So the issue is if we go back to the core, which is to build the immune system, everything is easy to understand.
Yeah.
But if you get in this anti-vax argument, then we're all going to be fighting against each other. Let's go down to the root cause. Why are we even having that argument? Because we've destroyed the immune system. And this is what's going on, you say? And this is not because of the vaccine. This has been going on it's an umbrella upside down.
Yeah.
This has been going on since 1980 because of policies. Policies affect our biology.
Fuck, that's crazy.
Yeah. So you guys, don't grift. Go get these cards, print them out, and hand out about 10,000 of them. Do it in your neighborhoods. Go hand out 10,000 of our Dr. Shiva cards because we don't hate you. We fucking love you. We want to actually give criticisms back, and we need to build a movement.
Are you religious?
What do you mean by religious?
Do you follow any particular religion, or what are your religious
Well,
beliefs?
I've talked about this. I'm a great hero of Christ, right? But the Christ that I follow is not the Christ that 90% of Christians follow. The Christ that I follow took a whip and beat the shit out of those people in the temple. Okay, the Christ that
I remember learning about that actually.
right,
He
but
flipped over the table.
yeah,
right?
but ask most Christians that.
Okay.
Say, hey, what about when? And they go, oh, well, that's just a minor event. Let's not discuss. That's when he got a little bit angry.
They don't like to.
That is the center of Christ's life. That incident is where heaven meets earth, right? Here's a guy who lives a righteous life. The great thing about Christ is words matched his deeds. He didn't grift. What he said, he did.
Wasn't a grifter.
Yeah, he didn't talk about, oh, there's a heaven afterwards and, blah, blah, blah. No, he called out those people who were talking the talk, but were not walking the walk. That's who the Sadducees and the Pharisees were. You see, he called out the corruption. And that's why he was crucified. Fundamentally, okay? And he gave people an opportunity. He said, his concept, if you read Christ's work, he said, we too can walk in his path and become like him. It's all throughout the Bible. Now, the quote unquote Christians, have reduced Christ into this very stupid form of born again Christianity. Many of them were all sorts of stuff. And then they say, oh, I had an awakening to Christ, right? And they think just repenting is sufficient. It's not. You have to actually do deeds. Deeds are what matter. This is why you have look at the Catholic Church.
I know Christianity just doesn't make sense to me anymore.
Right. But the life of Christ is an important journey if you look at it from a pure grounded angle of the actions
What
that
he
Christ
did.
Yeah, which has been hidden. I mean, the Catholic Church, come on, Catholic Church fucking harbors pedophiles.
My school was one of the biggest instances of that, actually.
Yeah.
In the 80s. BC High was
Right.
really bad about it.
Exactly. So anyway, look, I think we've had a good discussion. We've covered a bunch of topics. I don't know if you want to cover anything more.
I think that's about it. I would love to do a part 2 next time I'm in Boston. So there's definitely more to talk about. But for now, I think
Everyone out there, all you guys, do something with your lives. Go build the movement for Truth, Freedom, Health. We've created the infrastructure. We give you training. We give you knowledge. We give you community, real community. If all you guys between now and November can each pass out 10,000 of those cards, it's fucking over for these guys. Winning here is you guys getting over their bullshit definition of winning, which is voting for the lesser of evils. That's their definition. And getting you mind fucked into thinking, oh, well, Dr. Shiva can't win. As long as you're in that world, you are a house slave.
you are bisexual.
You are schizophrenic.
All of the above.
All of the above.
Yeah. And again, to the bisexual people out there who are truly bisexual, it's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the people who attack the people in the LGBT community, and yet they support people like Trump and Kennedy who are Zionist cocksuckers.
You support.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Schizophrenic people. So you don't want to be schizo, do you?
No, I want to find the truth. That's why I'm here. That's why.
All right. So
Sorry.
tell Sneeko
I like-
being schizo.
I'm gonna talk. I'm excited. I'm seeing him later tonight, so I'm gonna.
Yeah, tell him to do something, not just fucking go do dumbass shit.
What dumbass shit? What do you do?
Well, spectacle. You know what spectacle is?
No.
Okay, at the time of when Rome fell, they went from great art, great literature to spectacle.
Have you seen any of his more creative videos? Like he's one of the few
Yeah.
content creators that makes like actual art.
Okay, great.
Or
We can have a whole discussion on what is art, okay?
Yeah.
Spectacle is WWE wrestling, doing wacky shit to get attention. At the height of the fall of Rome, art became spectacle. Like, when I was doing one of his videos, he's got some gorilla jumping up and down, okay? That's spectacle, for example, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, spectacle. To reduce human beings' intelligence from the intuitive intelligence down to their intellectual intelligence, down to what's called instinctual intelligence, what animals live on, even sub-animal. So that's what they want you guys to behave, in an instinctual way, not to the highest form of intelligence, which is intuition, which is connected to God consciousness.
Oh, that's deep.
Okay.
Wow, that was
So that's why I'm saying that the goal here is to raise people's consciousness, not to take them to the fucking gutter. So
I like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
don't think with your monkey brain. I'm hungry, I eat, I horny jerk off.
yeah, so the
Let's send to a
content that they
creative-
deliver to you, and all of this is stuff they've done years and years of decades of research. A guy called B.F. Skinner, who's a professor at Harvard, did behavioral research. The CIA figured all this shit out. So all these grifters think, oh, I'm being so wild, and they want you to do that. They want you to denigrate other human beings. They're not being radical. You're not being new. You're not being artistic. You're being a spectacle. You're a fucking monkey of theirs. You are their fucking house nigga. You really are. You're serving the master. And you're thinking, oh, I'm so being radical. You're not.
Bisexual massa.
Well, you are serving them. That's what you're doing. All right, guys. So anyway, as I sign off to our guys here, listen, a couple of action steps. Simple thing. Go get one of these bumper stickers. Why? Because 100,000 people see these. Put it everywhere.
What does the average car see for bumper stickers?
100,000
Oh, it's
per day. Per day.
No, well,
You put this on the back of your car, 100,000 people will see it in a day. Think about views.
think about this.
So think about 1,000 people, 100 people doing this.
Yeah,
That's 10 million views.
it's a lot of views. That's viral.
It's viral. So they do not want people to.
You want you to believe the only way to get popular is on Instagram.
You know, I actually just said that recently too. I regret saying that.
What's that?
I said that I saw people protesting in New York City, and I was like, you guys, what are you doing? Like, you could post a TikTok and get more people to see your message, but it is a different impact when it's in person than just a TikTok popping up on your
Well,
feed.
also, one is students protesting, but when working people come out, that's when real change is going to occur. When an electrician, a plumber, when the unions stop working and they say this is the policy changes we want, that's where we need to go to.
Do you think it's even possible for Zionists to not run the world? Do you think it's almost biblical? Or is that just a terrible way to look? Is that just, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. How did this iPhone come?
Someone made it.
Yeah.
Someone can make a new world too.
Yeah. I mean, as an engineer, you ever fly in an airplane?
Yep.
Okay. You go from point A to point B. It's magic, isn't it? Do you know how an airplane works?
No.
It took millions of man hours of human effort to do that, which was considered impossible. So when you say what you're asking me is oppression and the subjugation of a small set of humans of another set of humans okay? That's what you're really asking me. And I'm telling you that we overcame gravity, we have flight, we overcame darkness, we have, light, and we will overcome exploitation. But you have to make revolution. Revolution doesn't occur. Poor old me, we're all exploited. Oh my God, human nature is like this. No, that's what they don't want you to learn. Engineers know this, plumbers know this, electricians know this. People who we work with our hands and we make stuff, we build stuff. So you guys, I would recommend you all take an engineering course, learn how to make stuff, learn the laws of physics, learn the laws of nature. Yeah, it'll take you a little bit of effort. You're gonna have to learn math and science, but do it, because then you start appreciating when an airplane goes from point A to point B, how many times it lands perfectly. That's the work of engineers. That's not the work of politicians, not the work of social media influencers. This world runs by engineers. We make things happen. I have deciphered the fundamental laws of the universe of how systems run. And once enough people learn it, we're going to have explosive change overnight. And you don't have to have everyone. That's the opportunity for you guys.
Thank you, Dr. Shiva.
All right, guys. Be well.
Great.
Okay, get educated or be enslaved. All right.
We're going to get
And so-
educated.
All right, guys. As I sign off, I'm just going to play a quick video here. So everyone listening, become a truth from health warrior scholar. Here you go. We have allowed our country to be taken over from within, and the end goal is you will have a homogenized world where we will become slaves, because there is a condition among the elites that really thinks they're better than you, deep down inside them, that you don't deserve the freedoms you have. They don't. This reality is what people need to wake up to, and we need to all unite working people. There's only one movement that can do that, and that is the movement that we started creating here in Massachusetts, the movement for truth, freedom, and health. Look, I've been a student of politics since I was a 4-year-old kid, studying revolutionary movements, left wing, right wing. There's a physics, there's a nuclear science to destroying the establishment. To build a bridge, you need to understand Newton's equation. You need to understand the laws of gravity. You need to understand Poisson's ratio. There is a way to build a revolution. And that's why I put this together. My goal is to train an army of truth, freedom, and health leaders. We don't need followers like social media. We need leaders, but they need training, because the educational system does not teach them history, nothing. So in 3 hours, that's what I've started doing. That's the solution. We got to train people. First, with understanding what a system is, the dynamics of all systems that affect nature. The second is understanding the interconnection between truth, freedom, and health. Freedom is the ability to move freely, communicate freely, talk freely. Without freedom, you cannot convert ideas, hypothesis into truth, which is science. And without freedom, you can't really get to truth. And without truth, you make up fake problems and fake solutions, which means you destroy our health. And without health, which is the infrastructure of us and our body, you can't fight for freedom. Truth, freedom, health. Third concept is it has to be bottoms up. Working people, people who work uniting. And what the right wing has done is whenever you say working people unite, that must be communist. Meanwhile, they've let the Democrats run unions, which suppress workers, completely corrupt. But when you look at the arc of American history, it's been when working people came up. We need to go local. Every solution I'm coming up with as a part of this movement, we're giving the science, which is the truth, and then we tell people what they can do on the ground. Like with election fraud, You don't need to wait for some lawyer. Our goal is to train people to go local, to go local, to go local, fight locally. Forget lawyers, forget politicians, forget celebrities. You got to learn politics, and there is a science to it. They lock us down, we should be ready to shut them down. And the fourth part of this principle is a not so obvious establishment. So when you look at a system, there's always something that disturbs you from getting to your goal. Well, the biggest disturbance is a not so obvious establishment, which are those people who claim they're for you, on the left and the right. The Al Sharptons who tell black people I'm for you. The Tucker Carlsons. Do you think any true anti-establishment person will ever be on Fox or CNN? I don't think so. They both mislead working people back into the establishment. Without this solid understanding of political physics and theory, you're screwed. You're going to follow on the left wing Bernie Sanders. Oh, he said something. Or Robert Kennedy. Scumbags. Or you're going to follow some right-wing talk show host. They're not going to lead us to liberation. It's us. We're building a bottoms-up movement, and that political physics, it's a nuclear science of change. Bottoms up. We have to organize to understand that there is people who talk a good game and then look at what they actually do, left and right. I'm sorry, Sean Hannity may say some good things, but I don't see the urgency in his voice to get something done, and it can only come when you weaponize yourself with the right knowledge. You need to be able to identify a rat. You know, Christ didn't go after the Romans, right? It was the Pharisees and the Sadducees who screwed him up. His own quote-unquote people. And that's where we're at. So these four concepts I've built into a curriculum where people can go to truthfreedomhealth.com, and it's an educational program. We need to train people in political theory. You need to have physics, and I've created that curriculum. People need to get educated. We need to get educated fast. And within a half an hour, I can teach people. 2 years of MIT control systems, I teach people those concepts. Then I apply it, anyone can understand it. And then you say, oh, I got to build a bottoms-up movement. They have to get politically astute, and then they have to go locally and act, not sit there on social media. They have to act locally, defy locally, do civil obedience locally, but with knowledge on how to build a movement. Now, the Senate campaign's expanded to the Movement for Truth, Freedom, and Health, and they can find it on truthfreedomhealth.com, so people can sign in, they can get access to a bunch of videos. If they want to take a course and become a Truth, Freedom, Health leader, I offer a full scholarship there, but we want people to make a commitment that they'll study, that they'll get certified, that they'll go do activities on the ground. So go to truthfreedomhealth.com. All right, everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed that. It was nice having these guys here. I hope people recognize that this is not a joke. These people in power and the swarm, whoever they are, the obvious establishment or the not so obvious, all hate you. And you can just look at a few metrics, as I mentioned over and over and over again, the fact that the life expectancy of your child is shorter than yours. The swarm is bankrupting you. They've destroyed your health and your wealth. The only way out of this is a systems overhaul, and we need a bottoms-up movement. To support you in that effort, as I just played this video, take time and go to truthfreedomhealth.com, and I'll show you right here. It's a great website, and this is an innovation. Truth Freedom Health is a curriculum. It's a community. It's an institution. It's a movement, bottoms up. Go watch these videos and go recognize that all of you can be part of this movement. And you will see that there's other people from all over the world joining this, because we fundamentally want to change the world. And that can only happen when you raise your consciousness. And that raising of consciousness, the first step is to understand the science of systems, how the universe works, and then get on the ground and build a bottoms-up movement. Nothing else is going to do it. And winning in our definition is not voting for the lesser of evils, but you getting off the plantation and recognizing that starting to have leaders like myself, which is what you deserve. That's what the real win is. That's winning. So understand it's time for us. Get off the plantation and be well, and really reflect on what I just shared here today, so you can grow and evolve and really use the highest forms of your intelligence, which is intuitive intelligence, which is connected to God consciousness. That's the only way forward. Nothing is going to come from these grifters who do not vociferously and vehemently expose the not so obvious establishment. Our movement for truth, freedom, and health is the only force that can change the world in that positive way, in a manner that alleviates human suffering sooner than later. Thank you. Be well. We need to build a bottoms-up movement. Go to shivaforpresident.com and volunteer.